Terrifying Disney secrets and urban legends. Walt Disney's apartment. If you have ever strolled down Main Street at Disneyland and looked above the old firehouse, you may have noticed the actual apartment Walt Disney himself stayed at. As of today, the light in the apartment remains on 24/7 due to a very creepy reason. One night, an employee went up to turn the lights off in Disney's apartment. After turning it off, it immediately turned back on. She turned it off once more, then the light started to flicker on and off repeatedly. The employee even claimed to have heard a voice say, "Don't forget I'm still here." The lady in white who haunts Main Street at night. Employees who are tasked to clean up Main Street late at night after the park has closed have often told stories of a ghostly woman in white. Legend has it that the woman in white typically wanders up and down Main Street after hours and peers through all the windows as if she were window shopping. The lady in white is also known for her love of children. Lost children who miraculously make it to Disneyland's baby care center have been asked how they got there on their own. Some have strangely replied with, "The lady in white brought me here." The Ghost Rider on Space Mountain. Ever find yourself alone in Disneyland? Well, there is no need to be sad. As long as you're riding on Space Mountain, you will always have company. Employees claim that there is a ghost who haunts the Space Mountain ride at Disneyland, and there is evidence to prove it. It is said that the ghost can typically be seen sitting next to single riders. The ghost is said to be of a tall, red-haired man who died on the ride back in the 70s, scattering human remains around the park. If you are watching this video, then perhaps you are a Disneyland fan. But do you love Disneyland so much that you would consider having someone spread your ashes throughout the park? As disturbing and somewhat gross as that sounds, it has been done before, and many times. Disneyland employees state that people are constantly bringing the ashes of their beloved ones to the park in order to spread them amongst the area or ride they loved. A famous legend tells the tale of a woman whose son died on the Haunted Mansion ride. She then returned with his ashes and spread them throughout the ride. It is said that the boy can still be heard crying near the ride's exit. Some even claim to have taken photos and videos of this famous ghost boy. The next time you are munching on that $10 churro, just remember that it possibly could be covered with someone's ashes instead of sugar. No big deal. Woman has heart attack in the Haunted Mansion. The Haunted Mansion wasn't exactly what it is today. It was originally said to be more of an intense horror experience rather than the silly one we were all used to. When the Haunted Mansion first opened to the public, a woman decided to hop on to see what all the talk was about. The woman found the ride to be so scared that she had a heart attack and died right there on the ride. After this incident, Disneyland officials decided to tone down the ride to make it suitable for all guests. People still claim to see the woman's apparition floating through the halls of the mansion till this day. Child hung on It's a Small World. Everything was going fine and dandy at Disneyland during a regular day in 1999. Everything was going fine until a group of guests on the It's a Small World ride found themselves stuck in the middle of the ride. The lights flicked on as the animatronics all shut down at the same time. As the guests were being escorted off the ride, a woman decided to snap some photos, and what she captured still haunts Disneyland lovers till this day. Upon reviewing the pictures, the woman saw what appeared to be a small child hanging from the rafters above, and it is even said that you can still see the apparition of this child today. Deborah Stone. July 8th, 1974, Deborah Stone, a newly hired 18-year-old girl at Disneyland, was tragically and gruesomely killed on the new America Sings attraction. She was crushed to death between two walls of the building around 10:35 p.m. to 10:40 p.m. A narrow channel between a stationary wall and a rotating wall was open, and Stone either fell, stepped backwards, or tried to jump from one stage to the other as the rotating wall began to move. She was pronounced dead at 11 p.m., and it is said that you can still hear Deborah warning guests to be careful when visiting the park. Disney hires sex offenders. The last one on the list is truly the most disturbing. It has nothing to do with ghosts, goblins, witches, or demons, but rather the true monsters that roam our streets in plain sight. Those who take advantage of the helpless, the young, and the incapable. I'm talking about sex offenders, and it is known that Disneyland has hired many of them to work in their parks. Many sex offenders who have worked at Disneyland have worked as janitors, ride operators, and even Disney characters themselves. In fact, 35 Disney employees have been arrested on child sex charges within the last 10 years alone. I'm not saying that Disneyland is filled with child molesters and perverts. All I'm saying is that you never know who is behind the mask. Alright guys, thank you for watching my video. My name is Weendawg. I post videos like this all the time, so if you liked this video, go ahead and subscribe to Weendawg TV. And I also do gameplays, like right now I'm playing through Outlast 2. That game is terrifying, but you know, it's no big deal. I post podcasts. I have a podcast on iTunes. It's called Weendawg Radio. Check it out. Anyways, thank you guys very much. Have a nice day.